Subaru Outback is now in its 5th generation and has really come of age, and for those looking for a capable semi-off-road estate with bags of character, this is well worth considering. It represents a genuinely strong proposition in a growing sector of the UK car market. It's not short of rivals, which include the Audi A4 Allroad and the excellent Volkswagen Passat Alltrack. But the Outback is less of an estate on stilts than these cars, with a near purpose-built style that shouts SUV without the compromises that come with these cars. Vauxhall's Insignia Country Tourer probably deserves a mention here too, though none of the above can hold a candle to the Subaru when the going gets tough. The Skoda Octavia Scout, while cheaper, smaller and slightly less capable off-road, is probably closest to the Outback in essence, simply in terms of its rugged, utilitarian character. Subaru Outback, interesting appeal built for those who demand the versatility and reliability of an off-roader, along with the space and comfort of a large estate car. It's styled to look rugged, and Subaru claims the general idea for the current model was more Outback. And what a practical, capable car this is. It's Subaru's flagship vehicle, selling in the hundreds of thousands worldwide, and it's one that perfectly reflects the brand's core values. It's hugely able on the road, nearly imperious off, has acres of space inside, and cabin quality has moved up a notch too. It's not a big seller in the UK, but that's no reason not to consider one of these cars. You'll not only stand out from the crowd, but you'll also benefit from the company's legendary reliability, long warranty and general air of unstoppability. Strong and stable drivetrain and engineering. Subaru has stuck to its guns with the engine and gearbox options with the Outback. As with all previous generation Outbacks, and the legacies it's based on, the company has plumped for a Boxer 4-cylinder engine, both in diesel and petrol forms. It's also available within a choice of CVT automatic or manual for diesel models. The 2.5-litre turbocharged petrol is available with the automatic only. Of course, all of the engines and gearboxes connect to Subaru's excellent symmetrical all-wheel drive system, which puts most other firms' attempts to shame. We've driven both petrol and diesel auto models, and can report they're both highly capable machines. In fact, we've driven on-road, off-road, on snow, on the motorway and in traffic. In all situations, the Outback simply takes it in its stride. You can find out more about the car's engines and chassis performance in the performance and handling sections of this review. Well-made interior, but a lack of beauty. As mentioned before, the Japanese manufacturer has given the Outback's interior a major uplift in quality compared with previous generation models. It's a common issue with cars from Japan. Their dash materials often feel on the cheap side, and while they last forever, at this sort of price point customers expect a touch more finesse. We're pleased to report a major improvement over older Subarus. There's some way to go to meet Audi standards of quality of materials and sheer style, for example, but the latest Subaru attempt is admirable, and furthermore it's plainly obvious the cabin is going to stand up to incredible abuse. It's also packed with standard kit, including some very impressive safety systems, and even though hard-wearing, many of the plastics are pleasingly soft to touch. Since 2017, the Outback has been made available with the firm's EyeSight forward assist system, which works well when combined with the car's adaptive cruise control. The seats are excellent as well, feeling well bolstered and supportive, yet comfortable enough for long-distance motorway slogs. In a typical long day's driving in the UK, an Outback driver will remain comfortable and ache-free at the end of the day. Quite an achievement. The verdict overall: we're very impressed with how the Outback has evolved, and how it simply feels fit for purpose. It shrugs off all that the worst conditions UK roads will throw at it, and comes back for me. It's rough, tough, and good to drive. The Outback is also a worthy flagship for Subaru, and although it hasn't sold in huge numbers in the UK, Subaru reckons it's less than 1,000 a year. It's an important car. But more than that, it's a grower. The more time you spend in it, the more you'll learn to respect its wide range of abilities. To find out why we rate this car so highly in such illustrious company, read on for the full Subaru Outback review. You have a choice of 2 engines and 3 gearboxes to provide Subaru Outback performance, but the main thing to remember is they're all turbocharged versions of the Boxer design. This means the cylinders are horizontally opposed, which in turn means the engine is flatter and hence the center of gravity is as low as possible, meaning the car is more stable and handles better. Subaru Outback Boxer diesel power. The diesel offering makes up around 60% of Outbacks sold. It's a 2.0-litre, 4-cylinder flat-4 Boxer, which develops 150 horsepower and 350 Newton-meters of torque between 1,600 and 2,800 revolutions per minute. It's mated with one of two transmissions, a 6-speed manual and a continuously variable transmission, CVT, called Lineartronic. In both cases it has the same performance figures, 9.7 seconds from 0 to 62 miles per hour and a top speed of 121 miles per hour. The diesel Lineartronic impressive combination compared with most CVT applications. Where usually you'd push the throttle, the engine's volume would rise but the acceleration took a while to catch up. Subaru has engineered steps in the power delivery which help to meter the power out more evenly. Automatic versus manual transmission. This means you're able to use the paddles behind the steering wheel to manually control the gears, and you get a decent amount of deceleration simply by pulling the left paddle and changing down, something called engine braking. Consequently, on more challenging twisty roads you can really engage with the car, it becoming far sportier than its off-road aesthetics let on. The engine itself is a little gruff, its soundtrack not evocative enough to forgive its intrusion into the cabin. That said, it cruises nicely at motorway speeds and you're not short of torque if you need to climb a steep hill. You might find the gearbox makes you wait a millisecond or two while it gets going, but it's easy enough to anticipate. Subaru Outback, brilliant petrol engine. You also have the option of a 2.5-litre petrol turbo engine which develops 175 horsepower and 235 Newton-meters of torque, which makes up the remaining 40% of sales. This one covers 0 to 62 miles per hour in 9.9 seconds with a top speed of 123 miles per hour, and frankly it would be a choice of engine for the Outback. It picks up quicker than the diesel and seems to make better use of the gearbox's characteristics, so you're always sure you've got the necessary pulling power no matter what the situation. And while it's not really what this car is about, it sounds slightly more characterful too. It's a reminder you've got a boxer engine. And we don't think that's a bad thing whatsoever. After all, many Outback buyers wanted something different. That's why they ended up at the Subaru dealership in the first place. As we've come to expect from Subaru, there's a whole host of features specifically aimed at making this car as capable off the road as it is on. In this sense, the Outback is a truly versatile machine which feels as though it could tackle nearly anything you throw at it, for hundreds and thousands of miles. It boasts 200 mm of ground clearance, and this is the primary reason Subaru claims SUV versatility combined with a refined, sporty drive. It certainly does the job of tackling rough terrain. When fitted with the Lineartronic transmission it has X Mode 2, which is a system which controls the engine, gearbox and braking for the best traction on slippery surfaces. That joins hill descent control, which helps keep the car stable on any uphill or downhill incline. We've done some extremely challenging driving using the X-Mode system and can report that it's almost uncanny in its ability. Subaru Outback, great on-road as well as off. It's also brilliant on twisty roads, and though the supple suspension allows a touch of roll, the car's inherent body control is such that it's a fluid and engaging experience. And we have to commend the steering setup. It's not too heavy, but offers enough feedback and a beautifully judged ratio to mean you're confident driving this car. Working in conjunction with the torque vectoring, which tightens your cornering line by braking if you've gone in too fast, it seems to simply point in the direction you want it to, even on snow and on icy roads. Even when you go very quickly, something we had to try, obviously, the Outback remains composed and stable. Where many cars fitted with part-time four-wheel drive systems simply push on into a corner, the front end washing wide, this Subaru doesn't. It's beautifully balanced in that respect. It's obvious there's some performance car pedigree here from the firm's Hot WRX STI. It's highly likely this car will be used for towing, and with a brake towing weight of 1,800 kilograms for the petrol or 2,000 kilograms for the diesel, it should have no problem pulling a small caravan, horse box or trailer. This is another area Subaru has done a lot of work on, and it shows. We've only driven say premium models, so can only report of those for the time being. The clever trip computer, standard on automatic models, displays all of the information you need to drive the car using the excellent adaptive cruise control. It's flanked by a rev counter on the left and a speedo on the right, while rings around both can change into one of 10 colors. These rings will also change to red when the eyesight safety system is active or in manual mode. The multifunction steering wheel has controls for the stereo, Bluetooth telephony, cruise control and trip computer. What's the Outback like to sit in? We found the driving position brilliant and easy to adjust with the electric leather seats on the cars we tested. The gear lever sits in a conventional location and in front of the electric handbrake, while most of the parts you touch are made of tough yet soft plastic. By far the most obvious part being the dash, which is covered in high-quality material that feels like it would survive a cataclysmic disaster. There are some harder, cheaper substances used in parts, such as under the dash and to the sides of the central console, and we're not sure about the piano black finish around the stereo screen either. We can imagine infuriating fingerprints could become the bane of your life. Not the end of the world by any stretch, though. Infotainment system lacks appeal. The multimedia system itself is very impressive. While it perhaps lacks some of the graphic appeal of higher cost attempts, it echoes the rest of the car's mantra in that it simply works, from the moment you switch the car on, quickly, effectively and without fuss. The screen itself feels advanced compared to most. It registers your inputs confidently and immediately provides the next necessary option. It's easy to get this wrong, and many very expensive systems do, so this is another area the Outback impresses. It's perhaps worth saying here that Subaru hasn't reinvented the wheel in this respect. Rivals do have equally, if not higher, quality interiors. This one works very well, though, and it's tough too. Here's another mightily impressive attribute. Subaru Outback comfort levels are exemplary. We loved the seats in our top-spec say premium model, and the ride quality, thanks to plump tires and soft suspension, is great too. The petrol model is marginally better in this respect, presumably because it weighs a good chunk less than the diesel over the nose of the car. The same is true of engine noise, which is far more evident in the lighter model. Subaru Outback, hushed ride, comfortable interior. Subaru has done a lot of work on the exterior of the car to improve looks, but also to improve aerodynamic performance. While the primary result of this is lower running costs, it means there's less wind noise too. Road draw, thanks to the fat tires, is almost non-existent too. The sheer size of the cabin is worthy of mention here. It's tall enough that a 6-foot-tall person has no hope of running out of headroom and wide enough for two adults to sit side by side without feeling like you're getting too cozy. Subaru has even gone to the trouble of putting extra padding on the armrests. The level of kit you get on the Outback is impressive, and there's a pair of trim levels to choose from, say and say premium. It's for this reason the firm doesn't offer a huge amount of optional extras. Standard Subaru Outback equipment, there's a huge amount of kit on offer even on base spec say here. The Outback feels like a premium car, and the list of toys stacks up with that impression. On the outside of the car you've got automatic headlights, front and rear fog lamps, powered folding wing mirrors with indicators built in, 17-inch alloy wheels, a roof spoiler and roof rails to make fitment of a roof box a simple matter. The cabin has a leather-wrapped steering wheel on 2.5-litre models, while the diesels get manual driver's seat adjustment compared to the 2.5's 10-way electric adjustment and heated front seats. The passenger seat is manual on all trim levels. Its rear seats fold in a 60-40 split, and operate via a one-touch system. There are also pockets in the backs of the front seats. Other standard fare includes electric windows, an electronic parking brake, cup holders for 4 drinks, 2 each in front and back, automatic climate control, rain-sensing automatic windscreen wipers, heated door mirrors, a premium audio system with a 7-inch touchscreen, sat-nav and 6 speakers, Bluetooth hands-free connectivity, USB and ON jacks, steering wheel-mounted multimedia controls and a rear-view camera. There's a trip computer to see how the car is performing. Petrol cars get a better quality version including eyesight parameters, while paddle shifters come on the automatic models. Each Outback gets cruise control and a hill hold system to prevent rolling backwards, while there's a huge amount of safety kit on offer too. Moving up to say premium nets you a sunroof, keyless entry start, 18-inch alloys, leather seats and an electronically opening tailgate. Optional Subaru Outback accessories. Since there's such a high level of standard equipment, the only real optional extras, other than metallic paint, are dealer-fit items such as tow bars, dog cages, roof boxes, fabric mats and the like. Probably the biggest news here are the vastly improved Subaru Outback safety systems. Chief among these is EyeSight, which uses a pair of stereo cameras to provide a number of driver assistance devices. Available on automatic Lineartronic Outbacks only, Subaru isn't expecting to sell many manuals anyway. It'll warn you if you stray out of your lane unintentionally. There's a throttle and braking control function if the car also senses you're about to have a collision, and adaptive cruise control will adjust your car's chosen speed to match the vehicle in front. If that all sounds par for the course in today's health and safety society, think again. Where most attempts at this are effective at best and jokingly clumsy at worst, Subaru's is different. There's a fluid operation combining the systems, and the overriding impression is one of elegant simplicity. It'll pull the car up to a complete halt as well if it senses the driver is doing nothing to prevent an impending collision, but it does this in 2 stages of deceleration, so it's far more progressive than other firms' attempts. If you need to swerve to miss an obstacle, the car will help out by braking the inside wheels and sharpening the turn. It won't steer you into a barrier, though, so don't worry about that. It all feels very user-friendly and it's amazingly easy to use. Simply control it all with the buttons on the steering wheel to set the cruise control speed and the distance you'd like to keep from the car in front, and the car will do the rest. Since the system can detect brake lights in front using the cameras, it's able to prepare the car for what needs to happen next, and during cruise control will decelerate far smoother than rivals' laser-based systems. Go for an overtake and it'll pick up speed immediately, so you're not waiting until you've moved out before building velocity. A lot of car firms nowadays are focusing on taking responsibility away from the driver, but Subaru's approach is different. Instead of intervening, it will simply warn you if it detects something amiss. Drift out of your lane and the car beeps at you, rather than steering you back in. These systems are there to help out, not to take control away from the driver. The eyesight system will also prevent you from pulling away if the car in front is still stationary, potentially preventing one of the most common types of incident. Other safety systems on offer include 6 airbags, whiplash-reducing front seats, 2 ISOFIX child seat mounting points, advanced traction and stability control systems, hill hold assist for preventing rolling backwards upon a hill start, and an alarm and immobilizer function. Late in 2014, the Outback scored a maximum 5 stars in the Euro NCAP crash tests, and that's without some of the eyesight features we mention above. As you might expect for a car supposedly so versatile, Subaru Outback practicality is among its biggest strengths. You've got a 510-litre boot space, which is capacious to say the least, but the real news is the cabin. It's huge. You can seat 4 adults in absolute comfort, with loads of head and legroom to spare. We'd happily sacrifice the boot space of other models for a more comfortable cabin, and that's what's happened here. The boot, which measures a massive 1,848 litres with the rear seats folded flat, also has a usefully low-loading lip. The Outback would make an excellent dog bus. There are 4 cup holders, 2 up front and 2 in the rear center armrest, a cubby under the stereo, storage in the doors, and a good-sized glove box. Say premium cars get a useful powered tailgate, though this is a little slow in operation and may result in getting wet if you're caught in a deluge in the supermarket car park.